Question, just wait for the microphone to come to your spot down here. Question.
Yeah, I thought we had two very good football teams going at it out there. Really thought we were struggling offensively. A lot of it self-inflicted the first quarter and a half. Defense played lights out, gave it one drive all day. We talked about managing moments. We managed a moment early in that game to kind of settle ourselves down, and then our offense got going. And Pat had another great day, and we started running the ball a little better. And it was a heck of a win. But considering how good UH's offense is, and the fact that we were playing so poorly early in the game, for us to manage that moment early on and not get 10 points down or more was a big deal. And at halftime, the kids felt very confident we could go out and get this thing, and we did. So really excited. Final Four, get a chance to play at home. And you didn't want it to end because it's just so much fun coaching this group of kids. So it was a battle. It was a great contest between two very good football teams. Questions?
In Casey, that third quarter touchdown there to Nigel White, which gave your team the 6-point up on New Hampshire, you think that was kind of a proverbial spark to get the team?
Well, exactly. We had to make a big play. We tied it up, and we just hadn't made that big play yet. And Pat found Nigel on the corner, right? Yep. And a perfect pass, and Nigel, Mr. Speed got into the end zone. And Nigel's just come up so big. I mean, he had a period where he had 19 catches in 2 games. I mean, he's a big-time receiver. But we have so many pretty talented kids at that receiving spot. We kind of rotate them in, and whoever gets the opportunity gets the opportunity. But every time Nigel's had to step up, he has stepped up, and that was a big play for us. He had a bunch of big catches today. But yeah, that was I think a little bit of a confidence builder. Disappointed we missed the extra point because now you're just nervous that, oh man, they're gonna come back and is that gonna bite you? But the second one was really big because now you felt, okay, we're gonna be fine here.
Casey,
Chris,
you guys.
Yeah, just wait for the mic.
Sorry about that. After they got that first big drive and they drove down and got the field goal, what types of adjustments did you make to kind of keep your offense in kind of a deep freeze for the rest of the game?
Their offense, we really didn't make any adjustments in terms of, we played a lot of base defense. I thought we did a good job getting into some 3-man looks and giving them some pressure. We started the game off without our best football player, and all of a sudden Matt Marcarell's not playing, and so we had a lot going on in that first quarter. So Matt pulled a calf muscle during warm-ups. And he's going to be playing defensive end, we got a pass rush, and we're playing linebacker. And so I think the first, series or two, we were scrambling a little bit to kind of adjust who's going to be playing where. And then after that, we settled down, we were fine. But I think that was as big a part of it as anything, is that it's a little bit of a damper when you have an All-American and all of a sudden he's not able to play, and you really expect that he was going to be making a big contribution. Now, the good thing for us was that Chris Morales was back. Chris had tweaked the hamstring 2 weeks ago, and we didn't know how much he was going to play. But getting Chris and Rossi back out there, we were okay. But I think it was really more us settling in after we realized we were going to lose Matt for the day.
Casey, even though you guys missed that field goal right at the end of the first half and went into halftime tied, how much confidence did you guys have going into halftime? Because you just had 2 really nice long drives to end the second quarter.
All the confidence in the world. Pat was in the flow. There's some things that we missed early on that they started taking away from us, and you wish you made those plays early on. But you just saw Pat was in the flow, and the offensive line was protected pretty well. And I felt a lot of confidence that we were going to be fine. So, early on it was a little bit like pulling your hair out because your offense is so much better than this. And it really, again, they're a very good team. They have an excellent defense. But it really were self-inflicted things that we were doing. Some reads and some routes and some things like that weren't all timing up. But again, really proud how we managed the moment. We talked so much about this, and I talked about it, today in my team meeting. I said, listen, guys, we're going to be managing a lot of moments out there today. This is a really good football team to play. And I think as long as we manage those moments, we're going to be fine. And we did, and we got to win.
Casey, you had said earlier in the week that you kind of expected it to be
low scoring.
Yeah, low scoring.
You watch them on defense; they're really talented. I mean, that defensive line really gets after you. The good linebackers, like your secondary. I think our defense is very good too. And I really thought it was going to be a low-scoring game. I thought the weather would maybe be a bigger factor. There's no factor whatsoever. I mean, it was a beautiful day out there. I almost went to my short-sleeve shirt. And I kind of anticipated it to be a low-scoring game, especially, championship-style games, the intensity's high, a lot of hitting. It was a physical game now. It was a really physical game. We'll be, in the training room for a while on Saturday and Sunday with how physical that game was. But, yeah, I kind of expected it to be a low-scoring game.
But do you think you guys are pretty well suited to win pretty much in any kind of condition?
Well, I think what it tells you is that, we won games when we had to be big offensively, like UMass, and we won games when we had to, get the defense to stand up and get it done. Again, I was disappointed in the first half of our special teams in terms of our kicking game, the kicker, punter. But then, they rallied in the second half and got a big punt off, and Sean had some great kickoffs, and Mike was fine. So, yeah, I think, I've said this before, I think we had 15 or 16 all-conference players, but not a lot of first-team all-conference players. We were a really solid football team, not, full of superstars, except for probably 17, but a lot of really, really good football players. And I think that makes us who we are, and we just play hard all the time.
Kind of on that note, you mentioned Matt's injury, I think at the beginning, but it looked like guys like Quincy and Dollar.
Oh, a lot of guys stepped up. Really, it was really impressive on the sideline because we were going to so many different packages. And Quincy was involved in the package, and Matt Hardison was involved in the package, and so a bunch of different guys involved in different packages. Kyle Hunt was out there in the package. So we counted on a lot of guys. We played a lot of football players on the defensive side of the ball, and that was planned. But then when we lost Matt, all of a sudden we're adjusting everybody around because he was a big part of what we were going to do. So we anticipate he's going to be fine. They tried to do a little acupuncture and some of those things to relieve the pain, but it's just a strained calf, and we have at least 7 days, maybe 8 days to get him healthy.
Pat, did you finally just able to pick them apart inside? Did you notice something after a slow start that used to do?
Yeah, I noticed I had to throw the ball from the Whitehouse, not the ground. So, just didn't come out, as fast as I needed to. And, Coach was saying, it's not timing up right, but, the wideouts were really running good routes. It was just, a matter of timing on my part. So, we fixed it. And, I told those guys, that quarter's on me. And, the rest of the game, we're going to get it done.
Kevin, Mike. Anthony, you guys shut down a really prolific offense tonight. What were some of the keys for you?
I think we had a really good week of practice, and with the type of offense they run, we have to be fundamentally sound. And I think last time we played them, they put up 35, and the time before that, it was 50-something. And it's more just MAs with that kind of offense. They want you to make mistakes, and they put you in situations where you have to think, and you have to think fast with the motions and the type of things they do. We have to adjust fast, and I think we were really well prepared for that.
Yeah, I tell you, Kevin, to echo that, I can't tell you, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even today during walkthrough, defensive staff and boy, the kids are sharp. Kids are sharp, and I think you look at the senior leadership we have, especially in the back end, and that's where a lot of adjustments are made. Made in terms of with all the motion and those kind of things. The front guys, you can leave those guys alone, but it's your second and third level that really makes the adjustments with how experienced we are there. Our kids handled a lot of things they did. They try to, they give you different motions and shifts. They try to get an extra gap somewhere, and we really did a good job stopping that. And again, the kids were sharp all week long. It was pretty impressive.
And Anthony, you just mentioned the fact that you guys kind of had to think pretty fast out there on defense against them. But then having to also do it without Matt Marcarell, how difficult was that, and how were you guys able to adjust?
When I first heard that, I was definitely disappointed about it because Matt plays DN, and when we go Hawk, which we ran a lot of today, he plays the Mike. And more than anything, Matt's a talented player, but he's also really smart. So when the type of game we needed to have mentally, missing him would seem like it'd be a bit of a problem. But we had guys in there that didn't really miss a beat, and that helped a lot on whether it was the front or it was the linebackers. We didn't really have a lot of mates there.
And I've said before that Anthony, And Matt are probably two of the smartest players I've ever coached. And one of the reasons I put Matt at linebacker earlier this year was because I wanted to use his intelligence. But then even at defensive end, he was making a lot of calls and howling over all the way across to the other defensive end about what technique he needs to be in. And, I mean, he's just so sharp. To lose him, you not only lost a great player and a great leader, he also lost, you know, a guy who makes a lot of adjustments for us.
Hey, Nigel, what were your thoughts late in the second quarter and then going into halftime after you guys got those two drives going? You know, I mean, were you really thinking, okay, we got the motor running now?
Yeah, it was definitely it's comforting to have Pat out there. Obviously, he has great vision out there, and I'm never worried when we get off to a slow start because I know Pat sees everyone, and we're just comfortable, and we knew that there were going to be holes in their defense, and Pat just took advantage of it.
Hey Anthony, you guys seem like you did a really good job keeping the play in front of you. I think their biggest gain of the day was like 17 yards. How was that kind of game plan, knowing how quick they go and like the trick plays they might do is just not give up a big play?
Well, when they really start picking up the pace, they don't try to get you deep. They might run it a lot, then hit you with some screens. Then they will try to get on the top play. They probably tried about 3 trick plays today. You wouldn't even notice it because none of them worked. But keeping the ball in front of us was definitely a big thing. And we did a good job of it today.
Coach, you opened by saying how excited you are to have your team in the Final Four. I mean, Delaware's fan base, is so intense. They want to see this kind of year, every year. I mean, how do you deal with those kind of expectations?
When I came here, I knew exactly what I was going to get involved with because I played here, and that's fine. I mean, I'm the guy who stood up in front of a press conference and said, "I'm here to win championships, national championships." And I said, "We're going to win them sooner rather than later." And I can remember my poor president putting his hands in his head because he just asked me not to do that. But you come here with a mentality that you strive for excellence, and our kids understand that. And I mean, I'd be disappointed if our fans don't expect that because that's what I expect. Does it work out every year? No, this is a brutal conference. I think my team last year was almost every bit as good as this team. We just couldn't stay healthy. So you live with those things. But this group here, the experiences we've had the last couple of years, I think it's made us stronger. And we've really persevered through anything we've had to persevere so far. So it's been a fun ride so far.
Any last questions?
Out there, Pat, throwing in the conditions. Did it take a while to get used to it? Or?
It was wonderful. That's the first time there's never been wind in Newark, I think. It was a tragedy that I didn't come out better than I did. Just because, the cold doesn't bother me. As long as there's no wind, I'm completely warm. Put a jacket on when you got on the sideline. I was cozy. So.
I thought about giving him the hook, but the senior thing, let him work through it.
All right, thanks guys.